You want some Sting merch? Well, you can be part of a record-setting group of fandoms of Sting to get your merch. After Sting made his debut on AEW Dynamite, All Elite Wrestling announced a new Sting t-shirt and hat and hoodie available at shopaew.com. That was like right after it. You're talking like minutes. This is powered by Pro Wrestling Tees. Well, Pro Wrestling Tees owner Ryan Barkin noted on Instagram that the new t-shirt set a new record for the most t-shirts sold in 24 hours. You can get the Sting shirt priced at $24.99, while the hat is $26.99 and the hoodie is $49.99. Get it while the supplies last. Of course, Sting appeared after the tag team match between Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Will Hobbs. Of course, the Icon signed a multi-year deal with AEW. Dave Metzler reported that AEW wanted to bring him in ahead of Christmas to sell merchandise, and it looks like that move paid off really well. AEW's Hikaru Shida and Riho are in the top 10 of PWI's Women's 100. So a couple months ago, AEW Pro Wrestling Illustrated announced its Women's 100 list, and on the list was Bayley, Becky Lynch, Asuka, Charlotte Flair, and Sasha Banks. No surprise there. And recently, WWE's public relations Twitter account pointed that out, I think because the magazine is actually coming out now. But also in that magazine, there's also a number of AEW women's stars in there too, securing the top spot in the top 10 in this year's list are AEW's women's champion Hikaru Shida at number 6 and former AEW's women world champion Riho at 8. Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, Ivelisse, Chris Statlander, Big Swole, and Penelope Ford made the top 50. Other women's wrestlers who wrestled on AEW Dark but are not signed to AEW made the list as well. So if you're just interested in seeing the list, so you got Nyla Rose came in 16th, Britt Baker came in at 22, Ivelisse came at 31, Chris Statlander came at 32, Big Swole at 39, and Penelope Ford at 48. Some other notable names on this list that you might know: Leah Hirsch came in at 70, Veda Scott was at 95, Heather Monroe was at 97, and Aliyah Black came in at 99. So those are just some of the names that have appeared on AEW television. Congrats to all, and hopefully we can get more AEW ladies in the top 10 or at least the top 15 in 2021. Tony Khan had a little media call before Winter Is Coming, and some interesting notes that he had talked about during the thing. He said that, number one, Khan said that the current deal with TNT is for $175 million per year. That's pretty cool. He said that on signing new talent without releasing any, Khan said that he hasn't made any releases due to the pandemic. He said he didn't want to release talent because it's difficult to find work in the wrestling business at the best of times, and even the worst during the current situation. He says he's utilized Dark to help develop talent rather than simply cutting it. So that's a very good guy there. A very nice thing that he's doing there. Regarding Moxley working Wrestle Kingdom 15, Khan said he wouldn't be. The simple issue wasn't related to Moxley's requirement to quarantine upon arrival in Japan. It was simply due to the fact that there's been no storyline established for him. We thought maybe something with Kenta. Maybe that happens and they save that for later. On the subject of potential trio championships, Khan said there's definitely something on his agenda for 2021. With so many three-man groups in AEW, it's something that seems to be a natural fit. On Miro, Khan says he's working on developing his character and believes Miro will be a star in both the wrestling and gaming worlds by the next year. I agree with that. The upcoming plan for Miro is to work the best friends and build Miro towards one of the AEW title scenes. Also, Khan mentioned his Balance of Power tweet, and that story he was referenced would play out in the weeks to come. Clearly, the Balance of Power is changed between Impact Wrestling partnering, doing an angle with Kenny Omega, and also Sting appearing. So he was right. He just jumped the gun. He's excited. Khan also says he's never seen Game of Thrones, but his mother loves the show, as if talking about the whole Winter Is Coming thing. He said the reason they were able to use the Winter Is Coming is due to TNA being affiliated with Warner Media, the company which owns HBO. So triple trio tag teams could be in the works. Explains balance of power. I think we'll see a big Miro push this year. So everything is looking, and they make $175 million a year on TNT. That is some great things for AEW. Sad news this week. Pat Patterson, wrestling legend, passed away at the age of 79. The legend was the first ever Intercontinental Champion. He was 79 years old. He was reportedly battling cancer and was hospitalized in Miami, Florida at the time of his death. He worked for WWE since 1979, first as a wrestler, then transitioned to a backstage role. In 84 and 87, Pat coined the idea of the Royal Rumble match, and which has remained a mainstay marquee match in WWE year on year. Patterson was also the first openly gay wrestler in the industry, paving the way for others in later years. His legacy and influence stretched far beyond the confines of WWE. Some of AEW's roster tweeted out some tributes to Patterson. Of course, the AEW main site did their thoughts and prayers with his family and friends. Jim Ross passed, said just heard about the passing this morning, the great Pat Patterson. Chris Jericho, also a picture of him and Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson was the yoga to my Luke. He taught me 90% of what I know about putting together a wrestling match. Miro says karaoke night with Pat Patterson in Belgium will forever be a highlight of mine. Tony Schiavone say, I'm very sorry to hear about the passing of Pat Patterson. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. I had pleasure working alongside Pat in 1989 class act. Cody also posted some pictures as well with Pat Patterson and Christopher Daniels and Taz as well, Evil Uno, just to name a few. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Pat Patterson and with his friends and family. A legend in the wrestling business passes away at the age of 79.